Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery with IIMFL and Smart Money Alliance. It's our pleasure to visit with you. We get together most weekday mornings, Mondays through Fridays, at this time at 8 o'clock Central, or just a minute or so before, to review what's new, what's working, what's not, to problem solve, and to have an exchange with each of you. Regardless of which role that you play as a distribution partner, whether you're an affiliate, financial literacy educator, a branch office manager, or a joint venture partner, this is a great place to keep up with what's going on. We've been working over the recent past announcing a no upfront offering to the marketplace. And so while we talked about it some yesterday, we're going to reiterate some of the high points from yesterday and dig a little bit deeper, because of two reasons. We've had tremendous interest in this. I do think we'll hit 1,000 enrollments this month, 1,000 client enrollments in the month of October. So that's exciting. But secondly, we need to go a little deeper because a number of you had questions that we didn't properly address yesterday. So here we are to do it today. So we're all familiar probably with the Capital Ready program, and it started back in 2017 as Capital Ready version 1.0. Worked with Chuck and Mark, both also from the SBA, and put together a 10-step process to be able to help small businesses go through and get prepared for funding. What we learned was those 10 steps were too many, and it took too long, and it didn't work. So we revised and launched Capital Ready 2.0 earlier this year. And that certainly has helped. But in today's economic environment, we realize that both many participants and also many referral sources are interested in us bringing a no upfront cost offering to the marketplace. Now, you have to look at this with eyes wide open. This is not a free program. We're not talking about a free program. You're not looking at a free program there on your screen. There's fees involved with it. They're very fair. And you're not volunteering your time. So just because the client's not paying anything up front does not mean that you're working for free. You may have taken accounting in high school or college or graduate school, and maybe along the way you've learned the difference between cash and accrual accounting. Most larger businesses, more sophisticated businesses, use accrual, but you may be more familiar with cash. I bring that up in the sense that you should be booking a receivable every time that you submit a client in that enrolls, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. It's very simple. You should be booking typically a $5,000 accounts receivable. That's what you put in your QuickBooks. AR, $5,000 from Joe Smith, because he or Joan Smith, she is now in the program, and that that you're paid three ways, right? You're paid $1,000 from the deferred refundable deposit, which we collect from the client after the first capital raise. Secondly, you're also getting paid to write the key person policy, assuming that you're one of our financial literacy educators. If you're not, you may want to consider that. And third, you're paid off of the capital raise. You're either paid 1% if you're an affiliate, or we do a 50-50 split if you're a joint venture partner or a branch manager. So cumulatively, you should recognize, I'm going to make predictably $5,000 or more from every client that I refer in that enrolls. That's a big deal. Now, I also understand cash flow is king, right? So we need cash flow quickly. So let's talk about what cash flow you can anticipate in the first 30 to 45 days, since we're not charging the client to enroll. Well, you should anticipate we're going to do all that we can to get that client their first round of funding, their first tranche of funding quickly. And often, quite honestly, we're going to try to start with the business line of credit. It has very low credit score requirements. Recently started businesses, they have to be a couple months old, but not very old at all, not very aged. often qualify. And we were bragging about this program recently. It just became back online after the pandemic and the credit crunch. We've gone through it to validate that it works. We've been pumping other clients through. So does everyone get approved for a business line of credit? No, but many will. And so my point is, in many cases, that'll be the first round of capital that we look to go get. It funds quickly, right? 24, 48, 72 hours. So once the client has received their first round of funding, that's when we invoice them and collect the deferred refundable deposit. Of course, they get that back fully after we've completed at least $1,000 capital raise. But right now, we're talking about what's in it for you. So your $1,000 of that $2,500 typically should turn around in the first 30 to 45 days. Now, depending upon the client circumstances, it's all about meeting credibility factors and qualifying for funding. It won't happen in every case, but that's what we're shooting for. And then if you're licensed or you're willing to get licensed and you're a financial literacy educator, you will write that policy in the first month. We write those policies typically through Nationwide. Nationwide advances commissions to you once you just submit the application, even before it's gone through underwriting, even before the policy's been issued. So you're looking at 2 of the revenue streams within that first 30 to 45 days. Now, I understand that's not as attractive maybe as you steering them away from this offering, taking them to the Capital Ready 2.0. You collect $2,500 from the client, you keep half, you submit us half. And if that's what you would like to do, that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that it's all about total income. And I believe that if you take this program out as your conversation starter, you're going to have many more enrollments, and enrollments generate income. So with that being said, also there were numerous questions about the landing page. So we have a different landing page for the Access to Capital program. It's different than feeding them in to the small business certification, of course. Now, stepping back, all clients, let me pop back over, all clients going through the Access to Capital program do go through the 4-week, 28-day small business certification. That is the foundation that we start with building financial literacy for the client, building their loan package. And we need that because we need to figure out what credibility factors they have to determine where their funding is going to come from. So not to be confused, the first 4 weeks of the Access to Capital is the small business certification. Then, of course, we are working with them going forward and guaranteeing them a capital raise. That's different than the small business certification. The small business certification, it's educational. We're building the loan package, but we stop with a capital match versus helping them with the capital raise, and in this case, a guaranteed capital raise. All right, so going back to the landing page. So these landing pages are great because you'll have a unique one. So instead of it being this URL, it'll be a URL that is specific to you. And what that means is every lead that comes through your landing page, no matter how they saw it, where they saw it, when they saw it, you get credit for. There is the brief 9-minute overview of the Access to Capital program here that they can watch, but ultimately it's getting their name, their email, and their phone number here and then submitting. What's going to happen then is that's going to come into us. That's going to drop them into a drip marketing sequence. That's going to code them as your lead. And then our in-house staff will take it from there. And what we're going to do then is move them on through the process. You won't have any responsibility for selling anything to anyone. You won't have any responsibility for getting them to enroll. You just submit the leads and we take it from there. Now, granted, if you have a relationship with them, you can let them know, hey, by the way, you're going to be getting a DocuSign to enroll in the no upfront cost grant subsidized Access to Capital program. Look out for it and complete it if you will. I mean, that would make sense, but it's not your burden to close them. And of course, then we have the highlights of the value proposition stated on the landing page. So we're creating free landing pages for each of you. Now, this is a bit of a debatable decision, but it was fairly well thought out, and many of you on the webinar today were part of this decision. If you're going, and here's the decision, if you're going to promote the Access to Capital program, we want you to go through it. Because we can talk about it until we're blue in the face, but if you've gone through it, you've gone through the steps, then you'll understand it and you'll be able to reflect it more accurately. And in truth, by you going through it, it reduces the need for you to fly to our office for the Friday trainings. Now, we continue to have the Friday trainings. We'd love to have you here, but there's time and effort and expense for you to leave wherever you are and come to Mineola. And so by you going through this process, frankly, you'll know it pretty well. So if you want to promote the Access to Capital program, which is our no upfront cost offering, we do want you to go through it yourself. Now, again, there's no upfront cost. You're going to get the landing page that we're looking at here. We guarantee you at least $100,000 capital raise. So it's okay if you don't want to promote this offering. Nothing is changing with our bread and butter, the small business certification. But I can tell you that if you're looking for optimal income, then leading in the marketplace with a no upfront cost offering is going to result in the highest total compensation. Okay, so now let's go back and drill down a little bit more on some of the questions, comments, concerns we heard about the Access to Capital program. So first of all, there is the 9-minute video that we recorded. I showed you that it's embedded. It'll be embedded on your landing page, and it's also here on contrarianab.com. We go over to Access to Capital, and so it's embedded here for the potential participant to review. Our goal is for them to complete this application here so we can decide if we think that they're a good fit. There's an explanation of the fields here. Now, you could just drive them to this, but if you do that, you risk them not remembering your name or mentioning that they were referred by you. So best practice is frankly not to drive them here. It's to use your landing page, get their information here, and then we'll take it from there so you don't have to. And that really reduces your burden. One of you had questions about constraints. And so in terms of volume, we are predicting, and there's no crystal ball, but we predict we'll have our first 1,000 enrollments this month, which is a big deal. Now, what that also means is that there's 1,000 clients that need to be serviced. There's 1,000 key person policies that we anticipate will need to be written. That's a lot of work. And so we have a group of financial literacy educators now. Some of them have the time and the interest that they're allowing us to refer clients to them, and then they're writing the key person policies and also helping them with the mentoring through the 4-week process. If you are interested in mentoring clients, so you're actually working with them rather than just feeding them into your landing page, that's the role of the financial literacy educator. And so then that requires some extra involvement, and then you write the key person policies, which adds another revenue stream. So it's well worth it, right? I mean, it's well in excess of $100 an hour. What you and I know is the average worker looks at everything in earnings per hour, and that's really not the way you and I should look at it as entrepreneurs, but we'll look at it, we'll paraphrase it. You're going to earn well over $100 an hour if you agree to be the financial literacy educator and help mentor these clients and write the policies. But with that being said, we've got over 100. So we're staffed up. We're ready to go. We're ready for our first 1,000 this month. And then we'll set our expectations for November and December after we get through this month. So with that being said, let's go back through. So the main selling points or benefits are bulleted here to make it real simple for you to reference. And so it's a guaranteed $100,000 capital raise. We spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about why that is ethical and legal and reasonable to state. And so I don't know that we need to revisit too much of that, but I'll summarize. So What we're going to be able to do is help individuals identify the right type of capital for their mitigating circumstances, and then also help them meet the underwriting criteria so they're credible enough. Because if you do that, then you'll be approved. You and I know that there's three main categories of capital to grow a business: debt-based, equity-based, and earned income. We have all, and that's it. That's all there is in the world, not just in our program. So we've got all three arrows in our quiver. So that's why we can guarantee at least $100,000 capital raise, regardless of time in business, regardless of personal credit, is because we have all three arrows in our quiver. Now, don't misinterpret that with someone coming to us and saying, well, I want this specific type of funding. Well, okay, let's enroll and let's see if you qualify for that. Because it's not uncommon that we'll have people that they've come to their own conclusion what they emotionally want as their funding type, but they may not qualify for it. So, what we need to do is either help them qualify for it or pivot them to what they're really qualified or mostly qualified for. So bullet number one is strong, especially when you can back it up with conviction and professionalism and make it factual. It's not just some pie in the sky claim, oh, we can give you 100,000. No, it's possible because we're going to go through a process that identifies what your mitigating circumstances are, identify the right source of capital, and if you don't qualify for that, work with you to meet that. So it's and using all three elements, potentially debt, equity, and or earned income. Now, some of you ask, well, what if they don't want to sell stock in their company? Do they have to sell stock in their company for equity based? No, of course not. We're going to work with them and ask them, once we've gathered the data where we can counsel them effectively, which of the three strategies do you want to use? Earned income is kind of a no-brainer, right? I mean, what in the world is the purpose of a business without earned income? But other than that, some prefer debt, some prefer equity. Some people really like the opportunity to get an injection of capital that they don't have to pay back. They're not burdened with debt repayment. Okay, and then the fast, we are doing a good job now. I'm not pretending that's always been a good job, but we're doing a very good job now getting the client onboarded, going through the 4-week curriculum, assigning a mentor that's meeting with them weekly through the 4-week process, creating really good client experiences. Now, if you've referred some clients in the past, we didn't have this structure in place, so it wasn't quite as smooth, but it's smooth as glass now, working well. And again, if you want to be part of that implementation team, you can. You get paid more, you do more, or you can just refer in and get paid. Third, another significant benefit is that we're going to very aggressively help participants in the Access to Capital program build out their business credit. Because what you know and what I know is there's some sources of capital that you can get where it doesn't report on your personal credit. It's based upon your EIN credit, your business credit. And if you come to our training, you'll see my company vehicle parked here in front of our office. That's an example of that. A $71,000 purchase that's not on my personal credit. It was bought under the EIN. So that's a big part of what we do, is helping them build their business credit and making sure that we get them up to at least an 80 plus Paydex score, 80 plus Experian business score. And so we actually have a new staff role that's just focused on that part of the process. So, that in itself, you should be able to enroll 20 people a month. Hey, how about we help you build your business credit with no upfront cost? So that way you can go buy things and finance things without using your personal credit. So that's powerful. Again, to enroll in the program, this is a correct statement. There's no minimum time in business, no minimum personal credit scores. But don't fall into the trap of saying, oh, well, I can go get in any type of funding I want and credit doesn't matter. Well, of course not. There's different sources of capital. Each have their own underwriting criteria. To enroll in the program, to qualify for the guaranteed 100,000, we guarantee that regardless of time in business or personal credit. But that doesn't mean that every source of capital throws all of their criteria out the window. And again, there is no upfront cost, and that's beautiful. You're going to enroll, if you get aggressive, you're going to enroll a lot of people in this program, and that's going to generate a lot of income for you. Now, with that, we are charging a reduced 6% performance fee, and we're very transparent about that, right? This is on the main website. The whole world, we tell it's going to be a 6% performance fee. This is not free. We are not going to work for free, and I anticipate that in your business, you don't work for free. But it's 6%. It's equivalent. It's a good analogy with the real estate market, as we talked about yesterday. If you've sold a home, in most cases on your closing documents, you're going to be charged a 6% fee that frankly is split 3% to each realty company involved, normally the buyer and seller side. In our case, it's 6% of all types of capital raised. All types of capital raised, all types of capital raised, regardless if it's a line of credit, a SBA loan, a non-SBA loan, business credit cards, real estate, doesn't matter. That's the deal. That's the deal. And that's, of course, in writing. Everything we do with the client is in writing. We have a DocuSign agreement that they review and they sign. When you send us leads through your landing page, we're going to do our best, and I think we've been compliant so far, that when we send the DocuSign participation agreement for the access to capital to the client, we will copy you on the DocuSign. So that's a confirmation. You'll see, you don't have to sign anything. You're copied on it. You're not a signer, but you'll see, oh, it went out. I referred in Joe Smith, and there they go. They sent the DocuSign to Joe Smith. And then you don't have to sit around and wonder, I wonder if Joe Smith ever signed. Because with DocuSign, if you're copied on it, you see it when it goes out, and when it's executed by both parties, us and the client, then you get an executed copy. So it's perfect knowledge. If you didn't get an executed copy, then they didn't sign. Do you want to follow up with them and prompt them along? You can. It's not your responsibility. We've got in-house staff that'll do that, but certainly you could. So I think the benefits are strong. And human nature in general is, if there's no upfront cost, people are motivated to do it. That doesn't mean that they're not committing to going through the process. It doesn't mean that they're it does not mean that they're not promising to do what they say they'll do, just like we are promising to say what we'll do, but it avoids upfront cost. Some people are stone cold broke and they really need a hand up. And so this is going to work really well for them because, maybe whatever life circumstances, they're not credit worthy, they don't have collateral, they don't have cash flow, things are not going well for them. This is a great program to drive them in, because remember, we have 3 categories of capital: debt-based, equity-based, and earned income. Earned income will always work. Okay, so with that being said, I want to dig into the questions, comments, concerns that each of you have posted here. And if you've not posted your question, comment, or concern, now is a good time to do it. Peter asked, clarify how to obtain a landing page. Thank you, Peter. I probably wasn't clear enough. Landing pages for access to capital are free, so there's no cost to you. How you get that is go through the program yourself, because we want you to go through the program yourself so you know it from the inside out. You've gone through the same steps, and you're going to be a much more effective referral partner of ours if you can tell clients, oh yeah, I went through it. I've received funding. I've received my 100,000. And so even separate from being a testimony of results, you just understand the steps versus us just talking about the steps. So that's the answer, Peter. Fill out this application right here. See it? Fill out the application. We'll send you the DocuSign to get you plugged in. No upfront cost. All these benefits we just talked about, Peter. And then also, we'll give you a free landing page. Okay, thank you, Peter, for asking that. So let's go to the next one. Kwong asked, do everyone have a free landing page to promote this offer? Well, and that's a great point. So if you want a free landing page, you'll do what we just said. If you don't want a free landing page, then you can just simply refer people right here to the Access to Capital page, help them fill this out, or just tell them to make sure that they put referred by, and that's fine. So if you don't want a landing page, you can drive people in here. Our preference, again, really, Kwong, is if you'll go through it, you'll understand it so much better. You'll be more credible. You'll be more confident. You'll be more valuable, frankly, to the client. All right, so let's go on to the next question. Okay, Peggy, I think I just answered your question there. And Peter, you bring up a great point. Peter said, well, I don't need funding. It may be that you don't want to promote this program. It may be that you're better off to focus on promoting the small business certification. This program, we want to do it right. And the way to do it right is either to have you come sit in our classroom, our training room, and spend a day with us so we can develop an in-depth knowledge, or go through it yourself. So those are really the two options, Peter. And I know that's a little bit stern, and that's going to keep us from having some referral partners, but we want to do it right. And we don't want people going out half loaded with information, confusing clients. Not to say that you would ever do that, Peter, not at all. But that's our experience in the past. People don't know enough, and they start filling in the gaps, and then they tell inaccurate or incomplete information to clients, and the clients get unhappy with us. So if you want to promote this program, we ask either come to training or go through it yourself so you understand it. Okay, let's move on to Toussaint. Okay, so Toussaint's asking a good question, digging a little deeper. So again, 3 categories of capital. And probably some of you heard where this came from. So when I worked for the SBDC, I did access to capital workshops with a former business banker that also worked for the SBDC, and he still does, to the best of my knowledge. His name's Brad, and Brad's a great guy. Kind of dry, but a great guy, and he used to be a bank examiner, actually, for the FDIC. And so what he would talk about this part, and frankly, I learned it from him. There's only 3 categories that capital can come from to grow a business: debt-based, equity-based, or earned income. Now, the question that Toussaint's asking wasn't about Brad. It was about, well, where does the income come from? Well, earned income comes from one of 2 ways. Either they sell more products or services that their business is set up to sell, whether it be donuts or mufflers or whatever the heck that their business is, or they become an affiliate of ours, and they do this, and they earn an extra $2,500, extra $5,000, extra $10,000 a month. Why would they want to do that? Well, they're better off to go sell donuts or mufflers, whatever their business is. But Toussaint, I'm telling you, some people, their business, they're not able to sell any more donuts or mufflers for one reason or another, maybe because they need capital to buy the inventory or what have you. So they can certainly become an affiliate at no cost. We're not MLM, we're not network marketing. At no cost, they can become an affiliate, and they can start earning an adult income that's going to improve their access to capital. Why? Now they're going to have some working capital, some money to spend. They're going to have bigger bank deposits. Their interim financial statements are going to look better. It's making their business look alive instead of, it's in the technical term that's used in the industry. Well, maybe it's not technical, but the industry term is a zombie business. I didn't make this up. A zombie business is one of those businesses that's on paper, but it's not doing really anything. Well, some people have a zombie business for one reason or the other. So if they can certainly go sell, and we're helping them through this loan packaging process and business planning, identifying their target audience, working on their marketing and sales strategy. If they can go sell more donuts or mufflers, great. Go sell more donuts or mufflers or whatever it is you do. But if that's not working for you, or not working for you yet, become an affiliate, and we'll get you some adult income that generates the income needed for the business line of credit, which was Toussaint's question. Okay. And so the question is this program suitable for pre-revenue startup ventures? Absolutely. That our sweet spot is working with pre-launch and early stage businesses. Those have been open 2 years or less. So they could be pre-revenue, and this is perfect. This is perfect. That's why we talk to you about going out to your workforce commission, go out to cosmetology schools, get those graduates, get the people that are coming into entrepreneurship. In addition to, we've shown you the database, you can identify every new business in your state, in your county, in your city, in your zip code. You know who they are. You know if they formed an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, DBA, assumed name. So absolutely, this works extraordinarily well and is applicable for pre-revenue as well as normally operating businesses. Okay, and I think I answered that question. Glenn just passed his life insurance exam license. Congratulations. And yes, we can help you with getting appointed so we can start writing some policies together. So I'll help you with that here after the call, and we'll follow up with you. Okay, so what questions do any of you have? And this is kind of part two of two parts. We talked about this and introduced it yesterday. If you missed yesterday, a lot of it's summarized in this 9-minute video that's located here. Again, also on your free landing page. So, but let's summarize, and if there's any other questions, we'll address them. We've recently launched a no upfront cost offering that participants are guaranteed at least $100,000 capital raise. There's no minimum time in business, no personal credit scores for them to qualify. We're going to start by going through a 4-week curriculum that is going to increase their financial literacy and build their loan package. They will have extraordinary support. They're going to have a very positive experience because they're going to be assigned a financial literacy educator that's going to meet with them in person or virtually, Zoom or telephonic, at least once a week over that 4-week process. So we're marching them through the steps, we're educating them, and then we're assisting them in implementing what they've learned. At the end of the 4 weeks, we're able to assess their circumstance and say, okay, based upon your mitigating circumstances, your credibility factors, here's what we would recommend as the source of capital. And it's always going to come from one of 3 categories: debt-based and or equity-based and or earned income, because those are the only 3 options. And then we're going to work with them to help them accomplish at least $100,000 capital raise. 100,000 is not the max, it's the minimum. If they're not willing to raise at least 100,000, this isn't the right program for them. All right, so we've covered that. Toussaint's again asking about the landing page, but we've gone through that. So just make sure you listen to today's recording if you missed it. Are there any other questions that anyone has? Because this is a big deal. You know, we've been on the right track for a while, helping small businesses access capital, but we needed to improve the servicing model, which we've done. We need to make sure that we're providing weekly coaching, or what we call mentoring. We do that now. We've got adequate staff. I have over 100 of you that are doing that now. And then also we've been able to eliminate the upfront cost. That is such a significant barrier, because you have some folks that don't have the money for upfront cost and others that just simply don't have the confidence. They don't want to spend money before they see benefit. So in this case, that's exactly what we've positioned. All right. Any questions that anyone has before we end today's training? All right. Well, thank you all. Just time to take action. Go fill out this page. If you'd like to participate, you'll receive the benefits that we stated and also get a free landing page. If you want to refer people in, but you don't want to participate yourself, not a problem. Just take them to this page here, help them fill out the application and put referred by you. All right, let's make it happen. We'll see you back tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.